All right, guys. Good morning. Hey, it's Greg Nelson. I'm at the Digital Media Institute here in Shreveport. We're been talking about movies that have won Best Visual Effects in the last just this year. We've gone through Alien Romulus, Wicked. These were the nominees. Better Man and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This week we're going to be talking about Dune and Dune Two in particular. It's been interesting because I was looking for a lot of the behind the scenes on Dune Two. I didn't find nearly as much the kind of stuff that I would have liked to have found for Dune Two, but I did find a great behind the scenes, which was a essentially it was a webinar put on by DNEG, which is a double negative, the company that does all the majority of the lion's share of the visual effects for Dune, and it was Paul Lambert, who's the visual effects supervisor, and several of the other supervisors that were working with him at DNEG, talking about a lot of what they went through. And my impression here is that Dune did win Best Visual Effects in 2021, and but it also won again in this most recent one in 2024. So much of what was done was set up in the first Dune. So I want to just kind of go through some of the stuff that I found, which you guys are going to find this stuff fascinating. Um, let's see here. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, yeah, sorry guys. It's just being weird here. My apologies. All right, so perfect. God, I hate when this happens. Um, okay, yeah, I'm gonna try this one more time. All right, so the thing that I wanted to show you guys here is I'm just going to do this through clips because that was kind of the best way to go through and show. Um, One of the big things that they did on this was something called sand screens. Now, specifically when you do visual effects work, typically you've been throwing up green screens, you're throwing up blue screens, but what they did for this was they came and they built screens that were the color of the sand for very very specific reasons here, which were really they're connected to the fact that when you add blue or when you add green to the reflections on people and things like that, you've got to go back and recolor all of that. You've got to pull that out, and it makes it really, really difficult. It changes the look of the effects. It's not exactly what you're hoping for. So adding being able to pull keys off of a completely different color really, really aided in the effect of this. So I want you guys to watch this here in a second. I want to back up here real quick so you can see, as it's shifting through here. That's the color of the screen that they put up, and it works really well because when you're comping, the thing that you're really looking for is being able to isolate the background. So obviously with what these guys are wearing, it really helps because they're light, they're dark, it's light. It's very easy from a comping perspective to pull that out. Now, the guy that you're hearing talking is Paul Lambert. He is the overall visual effects supervisor. This is his fourth Academy Award, and he's one of us, honestly. So when I talk about that, he is somebody who's he started in digital domain. He is one of the writers of Nuke. That is the visual effects compositing package that we use. You'll hear him talk a little bit about that in one of the upcoming clips here, where he talks about one of the tools that he specifically wrote that we still use today in Nuke, and he talks about why some of that stuff is important. Um, so I'm going to go onto the next one here. This is one of the things that he's really talking about here is that the reason that you use these different screens, right, is for the interactive light, right? We'll see if you see like wrapping right around the edge of their face, right here around the eyes and on the bridge of the nose, on the side of his face, right? In a traditional sense, if you were using a blue or green screen on this, and I've done this a lot, um, when somebody's got any kind of shine on their skin, right, it's going to pick up whatever is off in the distance, or if it's the color of the sky, if it's anything else, you're going to pick that up. In the case of a blue or green screen, right along the edge, in these areas, right, if you can see my mouse, right, it would be picking up blue and green, and that would be one of those things that would be it's hard to get rid of. It can be done. You can go at the end when you're doing your finishing, and when you go to DI, which is digital internegative, which is essentially a fancy word for saying color timing. You can go in there and you can really get rid of all that stuff. But if you don't have to, what you start ending up with is cleaner hair, like because all this stuff that ends up like right on the edges of the hair and stuff like that, it's really tough to get rid of. Honestly, it's hard. It's hard to get the appropriate look and feel as it is when you're pulling blue screen, because the blue is always intrusive on the edge of the pixels. So if you're using a lighter colored screen and it's kind of already pre-timed essentially to the color of the environment that you're trying to do, you're going to be way better in that particular regard. So, a really inventive. I mean, they did some really inventive stuff on this movie that I really commend them for, because it's not easy to like take risks to do things that maybe weren't that aren't easy, and to try this, it's not tried and true. That's really smart. I'm gonna let him talk in the next one here because he starts talking about what he's done. So he's talking about he just if you just heard him say is I'm actually the author of IBK, which is image based keying, and I'm just gonna toss this up right here. This is Nuke. This is the compositing software that we use here at DMI. This is the decompositing software that's used for film and television production. This is his tool right here. So this is IBK. It is still baked into Nuke as it is, and we still use it. It's very, very good. And basically, what it does is it uses a background image and sort of on its own will help re rekey a shot or help you develop a keyable version of a shot using this particular gizmo. And very inventive and